Hello everyone and welcome to Divi Feature Update Live, coming to you every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Right, so I hope everyone had a great weekend over here in the UK. We've finally started to see the sun, and it's been fantastic. But along with that, it has also its problems. I mean, I suffer from hay fever, so I've been really feeling drowsy, and my eyes itchy and all that. But anyway, enough of that. Okay, so let's start off by doing a sound check. Now, if everyone can hear me loud and clear, please give me a thumbs up on Facebook or just say yes on YouTube so that we get off to a good start. Okay. Right, okay, I see some yeses already on Facebook, which is fantastic, and also on YouTube. Great. Right, so before we start, I'd like to say to everyone who's just joined us, thank you very much for doing that. In fact, I'll do a shout out. We have Agante from Berlin. We have Atif saying, hey, Mac. Now, forgive me if I don't pronounce these names correctly, but I'll try my best to do that. Can't pronounce the first name, but anyway, it's BD Network saying, I'm so excited. Awesome. We also have George saying, hi all. I've already mentioned Atif. We also have Jamie, Akash, Joy from France. Awesome. I saw a name. Okay, we have Osama here from Dubai, Janet, Jonathan. Right, we are also broadcasting on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook as well, please do let us know where you are watching from. That'll be great. So here we have Ivan, we have Kirsty, Rajan. Awesome. This is great. Now today I'm going through our huge update, which we have just completed, which is the Divi 3.1. Now, this update is very important because this allows developers to create modules and extensions for Divi, and these are now compatible with the Visual Builder. Okay, so this is not a feature which when you update, you're going to see straight away in your Visual Builder, but this is mainly the API that we've opened up for developers to start using and allow them to create great extensions and and also modules. Okay, so if you have any questions throughout this live stream, please do leave your questions in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But just bear in mind that I'm not really a developer, so a lot of these developer questions, I will be making a note of them and forwarding them to our development team. However, I will cover all the main features and all the exciting things that we have for Divi 3.1. Right. Okay, so let's start off with with the first one. So as I mentioned, we've just opened up Divi to make it easy for developers to create custom modules which are compatible with the Visual Builder. Now, along with this, we have gone even a step further. So what we've done is we've created tutorials. So these tutorials will enable you to have a very good start when you start creating your module. So this is a step-by-step process where you can go in and start to compile this easily. Now, what I'm going to do here is I've also I've also left a link in the show notes, which will link you straight to the post if you want to have a great read. But what I will do now is to show you some of these documents and where you can find them. Okay, so over here, you can see this is our dedicated space where we have our developer tutorials and documentation. So in here, you can see we have, in fact, let me return to the main documentation. Right. So here we can see we have all the getting started. So we have Divi theme options, using Divi module customizer and so on. But what we are focused on here is the latest update. So let's head over to that. Okay, so here, in fact, let me zoom in so you can see. Right. So here we can see that we have Divi modules. So if you go into tutorials, we also have learning basics, by the way, over here. But let me just come over here to tutorials. So these are not our normal tutorials that we normally see me do, but these are the developer ones. So over here, if we click on Divi Video Slider module, in fact, I'm sorry about that. I've just taken you to our documentation for our modules. So let me just head over back here and show you where that is. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to our documentation. I was wondering why this looked very familiar. Okay, right, so here we are. So this is the documentation, and again, I will leave a link. In fact, I can just send you a link in the comments box, so so you can click on that link and take a look yourself. Right. So here is the link on Facebook, and I will do the same here on YouTube. Okay. So here's our documentation here. So in-depth Divi module. So what you do here is if you click on view tutorials, right away we see that we have how to create a Divi builder module. So if you click on that, this is now the step-by-step. So it's well documented, documented. And here's the programming, part of it. So this is the text. We can copy this, and you can follow this step by step. And this also goes through how to name or rename your module and how to set it all up correctly. Okay. So this is something that we thought would be beneficial to anyone that wants to get started with creating their own module. So as you can see, oh, by the way, this is also programmed using React. So this is, if you want to get started with this is something that you may want to go into and do a bit more research. So it's React that we use for this. Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot of information here. And if we take a look here as well, I'm just going to go back one step, and we have settings field visibility. We have module settings groups. So there's a lot here that we can go into in order for you to get started. Okay. So as you can see, this update comes along with a lot that we can provide in order for you to get started with creating your own module. In fact, I'll be also going into this and seeing how easy it is to create my own module, because there are creative ideas that I have that I would like to apply to this visual builder. Okay, so what else do we have? We also have this Create Divi Extension utility. Okay, so what this does is it's after you've done all your programming and everything, it helps you compile the code, and also you can work within the visual builder and see how it actually applies when people start using it in real life. So again, I have a link to that. Let me just go quickly and show you what that looks like. So if we come over here, so this is the Create Divi extension. And now I haven't used this yet. In fact, let me zoom in so you can see. So this is where all these are compiled. Okay, and there's also here a quick example of how that works. Okay. Now, for me, what makes this really, really exciting is, or even for yourselves or design agencies that want to build custom modules for your clients, is let's say you need a specific option or a specific function, but within Divi. This now gives you the opportunity to really customize your module and make it work the way you want it. Because before, there used to be like a workaround to do this, and there were a lot of incompatibility issues. Now, I also like to mention that Divi 3.1, for those of you who've been using third-party extensions and modules, we used to have a compatibility issue whereby they used to work with the backend builder. But why this took so long to come out was we wanted to really make sure that all these modules and extensions actually work well with the Visual Builder as well. So this is now clear. We've resolved that. So anyone who's using third-party extensions out there, now those work very well with the Visual Builder, which is a great feature, because we are going to be focusing a lot, and as you can see, most of our features are all mostly on the Visual Builder. So this is the direction that I think you need to take, because a lot of these features and the future is going to be the Visual Builder. So by making this compatible, this just makes it easier for everyone who is starting to learn right now or wants to use any third-party modules work well in the Visual Builder. So that is great. So as I was mentioning, as I was saying, if you have a specific function that you need, you can actually design your own module and make it work the way you want within your projects. And also you can sell it if you want to. So this opens up a lot of opportunities for the future, because if you can create your own module or extension and sell it, you can actually use it on your own projects and also make money selling it. So this is great. So this just empowers the developers out there to have all these options right there on your fingertips. And in my opinion, this is a very exciting future for Divi, for designers, and also for developers. So all of us are all benefiting in that. And as I mentioned, I would like to really go in and see how these modules are created, because I have, like I mentioned earlier on, I also have my own ideas. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick look at our questions, if we have any, and we can try and address them moving on. So if you're just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update live, coming to you every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. This is a show where we try to go in depth and go through the features that would have released during the week and see how we can use them in our projects. And also, if there's any questions, I can just do my best to respond to those questions. Okay, so I'm going to start here with YouTube. Let's take a look. Wow, there's Rajesh says, Mac, when you get silent, I can't stop laughing. Tatiana says, hi Mac, I'm late, sorry. No problem, Tatiana. We're just covering the Divi 3.1. Right. Zen says, if it took so long to create 3.1, then why did we need to update the same day to release 3.1.1? Okay, the simple answer to that is sometimes, I mean, in fact, a lot of Divi users out there have unique setups, right? So sometimes we may think we've covered pretty much everything, and then you realize that there's someone out there who has a different way they're using something, and they raise that issue. So this is where now we add all these patches. I mean, I don't think there's any software out there that is 100% no bugs, no problems. Our main goal was to just make sure that 3.1 had all the documentation that's needed in order for any developers out there to really use that structure or that flow to make sure that everything works well with the Visual Builder. Secondly, we wanted to make sure that all those current third-party plugins and modules also work with 3.1. So we had to make sure the compatibility was there. At the same time, allowing new modules to be created. So we are going to see these little things, but now moving forward, these are minor things which can be, easily fixed. The main thing is we've got 3.1 out there, and it's much easier for everyone to use. Now, moving forward as well, we are going to be releasing all our updates. This was the major thing that we really wanted to get out of the way, so we've done that now. Look forward to more exciting stuff. Right. Zen says, I appreciate your answer, Mac, but was not. But was that not the point of testing? Yes, I mean, as I mentioned, we've tested this extensively, and we are very happy to put it out there, because the last thing we want to do is to put out an update which will break a lot of systems. So as far as we're concerned, it didn't really break a lot, but there are situations where there's a few people that had or that pointed out a few things that we could, fix, and that's how we went ahead and fixed it. So again, we're keeping an eye. I'm sure there's going to be even more things that we may need to patch. We just don't know. But this is an area which the developers, really know in terms of the bugs and what needs to be added on. Roy says, is there a future option to show a landscape view for tablet and smartphone? Now, I know this sounds like a vague answer, but there's a lot of things that we are working on behind the scenes right now to make our builder work. As you know, we have views, our mobile views. Of course, we would not want to extend those, and I would say definitely this is something that will be there for the future, because it just enhances the way we design our pages and just make sure that we're covering all angles. So I would say that's a feature that will be coming soon as well. Usaid says, can you give a free child theme for professional 5-page website for my client? Thanks in advance. Now, Usaid, we don't have any child themes, but having said that, if you want to create like basic page layouts, we have pre-made layouts. I'm not sure if you've used them yet. This is a great starting point when it comes to designing websites. So these are already in Divi itself. When you create your page, you just load them up, and you can choose which layout pack that you want to go with. So these are pre-made. You can go in there and make changes to them. So I would say use those, and they pretty much offer you a great starting point for designing websites for your clients. Okay. Nitrous says the mobile views honestly could be a bit better. The text is not always correct, or spacings. Yes, I agree with what you're saying. This is an area that definitely needs addressing, and as I mentioned, this is something that will be a future update. Because there are different mobile device sizes. So if you're testing for an iPhone 10, for example, and someone has an iPhone 5, the screen sizes are totally different. So this is where you get, these different, views. And also on the tablets, there's different screen resolutions on the tablets. So it's not easy, to have just one size that fits all. So this is something that we are going to be addressing, and it will be a feature soon. D-Card says, hey, you guys, are you working on the Gutenberg update? Yes, the answer is yes to that, because we can't hide from that. WordPress is going to do their update. So definitely we are working on that. And we shouldn't really worry a lot, because the update that we're going to have will make sure that it doesn't break, websites that are currently using Divi out there. So definitely, so you're not, we won't be having that, that serious problem. So the quick answer to that is yes, we are working on that, and it's going to be compatible with Gutenberg. Nitrous says, thank you, Mac. A good workaround is to actually use Chrome's inspect element for more correct previews. I agree with you 100%. The Chrome inspect element is the best right now to resolve that issue. George says, Mac, I tried getting the initial setup of the dev environment using the docs. Install on Mac, works 100%. Okay. Windows, not so much. I get the following errors. Right. Now, George, I haven't tried to set up the development environment yet. But if you're having any issues right now, I would say please go to elegantthemes.com and just post your question or your issue on our support. I mean, they'll be able to help you straight away with that. Okay. Right. Mark Spence says, one might have thought that you may have already done something in order to demonstrate for us. Okay, that's a very good point. In fact, that's something that I was going to touch on after going through the questions. Now, definitely the answer to that is this is something that I'll be putting together. In fact, I'll discuss with my team this afternoon and see if this is something that we can do or if it's feasible. But I think it's beneficial for those of you out there who are not developers and want to see how to get started. So this is something that I'll be discussing, and I'm pretty sure that it will be approved, and we'll be definitely working on that. So I will do a video on getting started on a basic, how to get started on this. But this on this initial video today, I just wanted to talk about the great features of 3.1, and then maybe split this into a 2 or 3 part series where we go through 3.1, because there's a lot of things that we need to cover in this update, because it's such a huge update. So today I just wanted to go through all the features, all the quick questions, and then move on to sort of like other areas where we can talk about Divi 3.1. So this is something that we can do perhaps maybe in the next episode. Okay. All right, let me just take a look at Facebook as well. Wow, we've got quite a lot of questions here. Tran says, this update is very interesting to help many things. Do not know when elegant themes for beta testing. I think the beta will give the community an overview of new features as well as official version. There are not as many bugs as the beta when released officially. Okay. Right. Ivan says, rumors have been going around about the ET marketplace for third-party Divi products, especially after the release of Divi 3.1. Can you comment on that? Now, Ivan, I don't really know about that, and to be honest, I haven't really heard any rumors around that, so I can't really say much on that. Whatever I'm going to say is going to be totally inaccurate, because I haven't heard anything, and even those rumors that you've mentioned, I haven't heard of those rumors, so I can't really say anything on that. Okay. Right now I can see there's a lot of suggestions of what developers could make, like logo resize and existing pre-made layouts, how to create professional primary menus. Wow. So you see, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, with this developer update, this is where now we can actually see quite a lot of additions or to our modules, which which will be very creative from our developers. So this is what I'm really excited about, because this just opens up new possibilities, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what our community can do and what our developers can do, because this is going to extend beyond what our standard modules are offering to make our websites even look awesome. I mean, imagine, let's say, for example, the posts, the blog posts. I mean, if there's a module that can really make that really funky, I mean, I can't wait to put my hands on something like that, because right now, of course, we have a good foundation, but I know that there could be people out there that could be very creative with it. So I can't wait to see all of that coming through. Let's take a look here. Mark Spence says, kind of looks like you're doing this on the fly. Yes, I am doing this on the fly, because if I were to read a script, I think it wouldn't really come across very well. As I mentioned, this is just me going through the main features of Divi 3.1 and discussing the possibilities, and also me going through the questions and trying to respond to those. Right, it looks like we don't have more questions. I'm just going to back up here and see if I've missed anything. Sander says, "Hi Mac, is there going to be status tutorials for making modules?" Again, as I mentioned, this is something that I would like to look into, depending on how complex it is, because my background is not developing. I'm just mainly a web designer. So I'll look into it. If it's something that can be done easily and I can learn easily, this is something that you should look forward to. Right. Right. Okay, I'm just going to take a look here on Facebook as well. Karen says, "Can I suggest Elegant Themes improve their own website? I find a problem finding everything I need easily." Okay. What I would say, Karen, is if there's anything specific that you'd like to that you're looking for, um, just let our support team just point you in the right direction. Um, I'm not sure if things are difficult to find. I mean, I can't really say much on that. I'm sorry. Um, okay, so it looks like we don't have any more questions left. So let's just summarize and go through what Divi 3.1 does for us. Now, the main thing here is Divi 3.1 gives developers the opportunity to create modules and extensions for Divi, especially on the front end builder, and also those third-party plugins and modules that didn't work with the visual builder or had incompatibility issues. Now those are working fine. So we don't have to have a situation where those of you who were not using the visual builder because those extensions were not working with the visual builder, all that is gone now. Everything seems to be working fine. And also this update comes with extensive documentation and tutorials, which will show you step by step how to get started with creating your own module or extension for Divi. And this is step by step, well documented. And as I mentioned, this information is on the post, which I'll link to in the show notes below. And also, we also have a Divi extension utility. Now, this utility, in fact, I'm not doing any justice to this because it is quite exciting, because what it does, it is compiles all your code and also allows you to view your module in the visual builder, so you can see all the changes and all the settings that you can do with it. So this is something that is amazing because it packages your module for you and allows you to see all those features. And also, as I mentioned, this update allows all these third-party allows anyone who wants to create third-party modules and extensions, to make it easy, for them to work. Now, for the future, these are going to be, our visual builder is going to be like the direction that we're taking. So by making this compatible with the visual builder, this is, a great option. So for those developers for those developers out there, I would say jump into this, take a look at it, and you can start testing it and see how great it works. But for us designers and the rest of us who are designing websites, I think this is a great move forward, because this just allows us to get even more possibilities and more modules that we can use in our designs. So I'm really, really excited with this, and I'm looking forward to seeing, future updates. Right, so I guess that's all we have. I'm just going to take a quick look one more time and see if we have any more questions. Right, there's a question here from Rocky. My module is an animation effect module that targets the other modules, so it doesn't render anything in the visual builder. How would I approach this? Now, as I mentioned, Rocky, I'm not a developer, but all these questions that you have, if you can contact our support team, they will be able to look into this in a much greater depth. And also just make sure that, I'm sure you've done this already. I know it sounds silly, but just make sure you're running the latest Divi 3.1. Now, what I noticed today is when I went into my website, it didn't show the update. So what you may want to do is to go in and make sure you click on update. In fact, let me show you where that is. I'm just going to open up my website here. Right. Right. So to quickly update it, what you want to do is to come over here to dashboard. Right, let me just minimize this. Okay, so what you want to do is to come over here to dashboard and then just make sure you click on update a few times, because by default, sometimes it won't show the update. So if you click this a few times, that's where you see it. And then you just need to update it to 3.1. Okay. Pete Taylor said, I managed to get a basic simple header running, but I can see how Docker fits into the picture. Can this be explained? Do you have a forum where developer questions are asked? Now, as I mentioned, I'm not really sure if there's a forum, but what I will do is I will find out quickly, and I'll leave a link in the here on YouTube to link you to that forum if that exists. Mark Spence says, when will be the Bloom plugin be GDPR compliant? The simple answer to that is I'm not really sure when that will be, but I'm sure these are the sort of things that we are now really behind on, because we really wanted to get this 3.1 out of the way, because this was a major step for us moving forward. So now you're going to be seeing a lot of updates, a lot of features to all our plugins and our visual builders. Rocky says, we do have questions. Please check above. Okay. Atif says, was wondering if there is a way to add attachments to the Divi contact for there can be a pic or document upload in the mail. Yes, currently that isn't there, but again, this is something that these are sort of like the features that we should be expecting in a very short space of time, because you know the time where we had quite a lot of features every week or sometimes every fortnight. We are going to be back to a similar, program as we had before, because we had quite a bit of time where I was just going through like the old tutorials and updates and covering those. That's because we were working hard on 3.1. So now that 3.1 is out, we should look forward to a lot more features out there. But I don't have the specifics of which ones they are. Agante says, will there be a developer weekly Q&A in the future? Actually, that would be really, really cool. So I'm not sure, but this is something that I can suggest. In fact, I'm going to write it down. Developer Q&A. Okay, I'll raise this in the meeting today and see if that is possible. So I will have an answer for you. I'll either leave it in the comments box below, or next week I can address this during the show. Right, I think I've covered pretty much all my all the questions here. Right, I'm just going to check here on Facebook as well, just make sure that I don't miss anything. I have a question here from Karen saying, for example, where are all the free images available? Now, I'm not sure what which free images you're referring to. If the free images you're referring to are the ones that we produce at Elegant Themes, these come with the layout packs. So as soon as you download the layout pack, all these images go into your media library. But if you're referring to like free images that you can use generally, there's quite a few websites out there. One of them is Pixabay. In fact, there's also another one called Unsplash. So these are places that you can go and download free images. Karen says, talking about GDPR, are there any new template for privacy and terms and condition pages? We don't have those at the moment, but this is something that I can also suggest to our design team. So I'm just making a note of this. Okay, I've made a note of this, so hopefully this is something that they can do for the future. Let's take a look here. Right, I'm just going to take one quick look here on Facebook. Okay, so pretty much I think I've covered most of the questions. Now, if you still have more questions that you want to add, just drop us a message on our comments box below, or you can go to our support on elegantthemes.com and ask your questions there, and we'll do our best to respond to your questions. Now, I'd like to say, for those of you who've joined me today for this show, thank you very much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for all of you that asked your questions and also who tuned in today. Now, next week, I'll also be here live at 7 a.m. Eastern, covering 3.1, or if there's a feature that I think we need to cover, which would have come out during the week, we'll just see which way we're going to go with that. So again, thank you very much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have all a great week and hope to see you again next week. Thank you very much for watching and take care.